I'm often asked, why do I feel the need to go and check out the complaint process for police departments? It's kind of boring, and I do filming there as well. But a lot of people want to know when they come and watch my videos, why do I care about that? Why do I care about the complaint process? Well, I care about that because how do you get things to change? How do you get a rogue officer off the street if you can't make a formal complaint and you don't know how to make a formal complaint? And what a lot of people don't know is each department's policy is different. But there are state regulations in regards to filing a complaint against a police officer, and that's what we're going to go into. But there's also a video here from Little M Police Department. So I'm going to get through this kind of quickly, but I just want you to see the importance of filing a complaint against a police officer when they have wronged you, violated your rights, or just been rude. You know, they are servants of the people. And whether they want to be or they don't want to be, whatever name you want to call them, that's what they are. They're servants to the people, and they shall be treated as such. So the First Amendment is very powerful. You know, you can see the highlighted area here where it says what your rights are and what Congress shall not do. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or of the right of the people to peacefully assemble, and to petition the government for redress of grievances. So therefore, when you want to complain on an officer, you have a right to redress the government. If you have a grievance, doesn't matter what it is, you have a right to address the government. And what you see is a lot of police departments want to get in the way of that. You can see here, Texas chapter 614.022 talks about what's required for a citizen to make a complaint against a police officer. Here are the requirements for the citizen. Complaint to be in writing and signed by complainant. To be considered by the head of a state agency or by the head of a fire department or local law enforcement agency. So that's to be recognized. That's for them to start their investigation. The complaint must be in writing. That's number one. Number two, and signed by the person making the complaint. So I want to make sure I'm clear on that. The only thing you have to do for a police agency to start an investigation is, or for a formal complaint to be made, is the complaint has to be in writing by the person making the complaint, and it has to be signed by the person making the complaint. You can see here it doesn't say anything about sworn to, notarized. The document has to be this, that, and the other, and that's important to know that. But also equally important is section 614-023. And this tells you about the officer's rights in this. A copy of a signed complaint against a law enforcement officer of this state or a firefighter, detention center, detention officer, county jailer, or peace officer appointed or employed by a political subdivision of this state shall be given to the police officer or employee within a reasonable time after the complaint is filed. So, in other words, the officer or whoever has a right to a copy of the complaint against them. B, disciplinary action may not be taken against the officer or employee unless a copy of the signed complaint is given to the officer or employee. So in other words, if it's never given to the officer for whatever reason, no investigation. C, in addition to the requirements of section B, the officer or employee may not be indefinitely suspended or terminated from employment based on the subject matter of the complaint unless the complaint is investigated and there is evidence to prove the allegation of misconduct. And this is important to know because this is why a lot of departments don't want you to file a complaint. They threaten you with perjury charges. They threaten you. It's usually in bold letters. They let you know, if you come in here to file a complaint against our officer, we will protect the officer. You better be ready to be violated yourself. Your background check's going to be run too. We're going to check and see who you are. We're going to protect our own. That's not my opinion. That's the fact when you look at the document. As you can see here, this is the Little Am Police Department. This is the first page or the second page you actually see once you're ready to file your complaint. And I want to make sure you're looking at the bottom where it's telling you that the Little Elm Police Department takes a serious position against those who falsely accuse police employees of alleged misconduct. If determined a false allegation was made against an employee, the department will file perjury charges against the accusing party. Notice it's in red. Notice it's meant to threaten you. Notice it's meant to scare you. Notice they're telling you that if you come in here and you don't have all your stuff together and they find some way or there's no evidence to support what you're saying, if it's a he say, she say, then you're subject to have charges filed against you under Texas Penal Code 37.02, which is perjury. So, but how do they do this? What's the catch? What is it that makes them have the power to do that? This is it. When you go in and you sign that complaint form, you're swearing to it. And they're clearly letting you know right here of the Texas Penal Code under Chapter 37, which is usually .02, which is perjury. That's what they're getting you with. You're signing it yourself. So you're the ones that's taking the rope, tying it around your neck, and jumping off the chair. They're allowing you to do that yourself because we don't know any better. You saw what was required for a citizen to fill out a complaint. Now you're seeing what the actual department wants to add to it to cover themselves and to cover their officers as well. And, so I don't want to feel like I want you guys to take my words for it. In the video, I clearly asked the officer, what if I give them opportunities? What if I just want to sign it and just state the complaint? That's all I want to do. I don't want to notarize and all of that. The officer clearly tells me that they will investigate it still. But the truth of the matter is that's not true. And I'm not calling the officer a liar. I'm going to either say he's lying or he doesn't know the policy himself. And here's the evidence to that. The highlighted area here in the statement, in the complaint page form, lets you know right before you're even getting ready to write it. Statement of complainant must be signed and notarized to activate an investigation. This is not how this works. That's not how it's meant to be. The laws that Texas put in place was to protect the officer and protect the citizens as well. But as you can see, police departments go above and beyond to protect their own. So you have to be aware of what your rights are and make sure that you're not giving them more than what's needed, because that's what they want. They want you to give them more than what's needed, and they want you to hang yourself. So don't do it. And it's your rights. Use them or lose them. Yes, ma'am. How can I get a police complaint form? The police officer. I'm in Little Am. Oh, okay. So they don't have, there's nobody here that I can just get a form and stay anonymous? Yes, ma'am. Please. I will just, and you don't tell them I want to fill it out here. I just want the complaint form. Well, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you.
Is it morning or afternoon? Afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
They said you were here to file a complaint on an officer?
No, so I just need a complaint form.
Okay, sure. Let me go print that up and let me get it for you and I'll be right back with you, all right?
Okay, appreciate it. What's your name, sir?
My name is Lieutenant Compton.
Lieutenant, you have a package there for you.
Oh, hey, I appreciate that. Here's my call.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
Hey, thank you for letting me know. I was waiting on this too. Yeah, let me go print that up and I'll bring it right back to you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Right, here's the entire packet that contains like the cover letter, the mission statement of the department, the procedures for an internal affairs investigation,
Yes, sir.
classification, disposition, the notice, disciplinary procedure, the actual complaint page itself, and then a final record of complaint page 2. So everything is in here that tells you how to go about and what occurs.
Okay. Can I just take a look at it real quick,
Sure.
sir?
There you go.
I'll have a question about it.
Sure.
Okay, I see the 3702 perjury that you guys list in here. If I just wanted to fill out the complaint, just fill out the complaint and sign it, would you guys still investigate it without me filling out the rest of this?
Yes, sir. We would look into it. We always look into them.
Right, but would it be just like you would if I filled out all of this, would you still do a investigation? If I just signed it and put the complaint, put the information without putting my driver's license number, my address, and not having this notarized under the threat of perjury, would you guys still accept it?
Yeah, we'd still accept it and we'd still look
investigate
into
it?
Yeah. We'd look into it, see exactly what occurred.
And then still, this process will still take place that you gave me?
Do what?
This process that you just given me, this process will still be followed?
Let me see exactly. I don't know exactly what the exact process is here with this. So,
Because you gave me the process.
Yeah, I don't want to misquote myself and tell you. Yeah, I can see here's different types of complaints. Personal appearance, letter of complaint. Here's anonymous. An anonymous complaint received from any of the receipt of this type of a complaint is this document details in writing and forward to the documentation directly to the chief of police or assessment of possible assignment for investigation.
But it's not an anonymous complaint, Lieutenant. I'm signing it.
Correct, you're signing it, but like you said, you said you didn't want to provide any of your information. So
Right.
that would be considered an anonymous complaint. Because here it says a personal complaint, person making complaint document, duty supervisor rank, and that you listed everything in there. And then here's the letter of complaint, And then that would fall under anonymous, because when you don't, if you don't want to give us your information, we don't know who you are. So it would fall under the anonymous side of it. But even though that if you did this and you didn't list your name, you signed it and you listed the information that was there, like I said, it would be more than likely deemed anonymous, and it would go to the chief of police to be reviewed. Okay. And it would more than likely end up in my hands, because I am the professional standards lieutenant. Gotcha. And we would look into it. And what we do is we look at things like that and we specify them as, like, is it something that needs to go to internal affairs to be looked at, or is it something that can be handled on a supervisor level?
Gotcha. So if I provided you my email address in the complaint so I can be aware, so the citizen, right? Let's say the citizen files the complaint, they give you guys the email address because they do want to be kept abreast of the investigation. They write it, they sign it. Okay. Basically, I just want to know that the same steps that would be followed if I was to fill out all of this other stuff will still be followed, and that will be investigated, and if found this goes into that officer's record. Personnel record. Yes, correct. Yes, it would still be, like I said, it'd go to the chief of police to be determined whether it would come to me, and then we would look at it to say, is it going fully internal affairs or is it going the other route? And then at that point in time, if we need to look at it into internal affairs and go to internal affairs, we'll take it down that route. Well, but we're not gonna, just because you don't sign it or you don't put your name, you don't put your address, we're not going to ignore it. Okay. That's what I need to know, because as you know, under Texas, the law is that all a citizen has to do is make the complaint and sign it. Correct. That's all that's required. So all the other stuff that usually a lot of agencies are not required by law. It's usually just by that agency, because each agency has their own process, which Correct. Is why I'm investigating the little AM process for. And we look into them. People call all the time and complain, and we look into them and try to make a phone call back to let them know what we found and if there's anything that we need to do better. And it may not be a disciplinary issue. It may be something like a training issue that we can do. Can we do things better? And maybe that's something that we're doing as a whole, and maybe we need to address that with our department, or is it something that the individual officer did that maybe we need to address with that individual officer? And that's what I was looking for, Lieutenant. That's all, because I've gone to some places, they say they don't even investigate it if you just provide the standards of the law, which is just the complaint and sign it. They say they won't even investigate it. So I'm happy to see that you all do investigate. We'll look into it. And like I said, I get calls. I'm the professional standards lieutenant. I'm the internal affairs guy. That's what I do. Gotcha. And so when the people call to complain, they come to me and I talk to them and I get the information and we look at it. And like I said, do we deem it as, is this something that needs to come to me to internal affairs to be formally investigated, or is it something that the sergeant needs to address as far as training or just through a documentation? Right. And like I said, it may not be, a lot of people see this and go, well, he's doing wrong. He may be doing wrong, but can we improve it with training? I agree. Did he do something wrong technically, but could it be better? Is it officer safety? Is it a communication? Absolutely. What is it? Because we can always, and that's, absolutely. Are you aware of Little M and our 4 core values? Oh, no, I'm not. Okay. We have 4 core values here, and it's integrity, customer service, innovation, and efficiency. And we pride ourselves on the first 2, which are integrity and customer service. And we strive to be, and it's not, and the people here are our customers. Gotcha. And so we strive to make it better. And our chief and our town are big on quality of life. What can we do to make the quality of life for our citizens and our visitors? Because a lot of these people, like you see on this road here, a lot of them don't live here. They're passing through because it's a thoroughfare through here. Sir. So what can we do to make everything better for everybody? And we strive on that. Well, I've taken up enough of your time, Lieutenant. You've been very helpful, sir. I really appreciate you. Thank you, sir, and you have a great weekend. Oh, you too, sir. Thank you. Have a great day. You too. I'm going to just go over here, take a couple shots.